All right, welcome back.
Well, I was excited to hold up the chart because we're in this land. Welcome to your leadership backpack, by the way. We're in the land of leadership range. Last time we gave you a tool around ask. That was powerful questions. And today we're going to shift all the way over here to the tell side, remembering that that is short-term, task-focused, and urgent. So that's
Yep.
our frame for today.
Yeah, and this is like that management piece, right? So we want to talk about what does it mean to be an effective manager? And being an effective manager involves being skillful
Mm.
in how you tell someone to do something, which is oftentimes a part of our jobs, our work, the way that we are with one another is sometimes you got to tell somebody to do something.
Yes, and we know for effective telling, the designed alliance, that tool we used before, is important.
Yeah.
Like the relationship, getting really making sure it is a safe and courageous relationship for the sake of what you're up to. So one element we know when we become unskillful in telling is that we haven't done the work on the relationship. So we want to point to that, right? So just naming that piece.
Yeah, and going a little bit further too in saying that when we're unskillful in telling, we can have a pretty big impact. And
Ooh.
I think, if you've ever been in a situation where you've been unskillful in telling somebody to do something, that that if you're not able to repair or recover from that, we can create this real toxicity and even drama in a relationship. And so there's a lot at stake. And it's a really challenging thing to get right all the time because we're constantly under pressure, especially when we're talking about, when things are urgent, short term, need to get done right away. And so here we go. These are the things that we think are really important. And the first is to just notice, like, okay, there's something missing from this relationship in order for me to be skillful in telling somebody to do something.
Yes, some places to look. Shared purpose. Do we have a shared purpose together around what we're up to? Another place is around belonging. Is there a sense of belonging for a higher cause here about what we're up to? And then also back to the design alliance piece, that thread through there is connection. Are we connected? Is there respect and trust in the relationship through connection? So all these things are the foundation for managers before getting into this telling energy that is important and needed.
Mm-hmm. And then another piece of that too is accountability. So, do we have an agreed structure for accountability where we are agreeing to what your role and responsibilities are, what my role and responsibilities are, and is the expectation clear?
Yes, Shannon, doubling down on that responsibility piece and making sure those are clear. We have certainly structures in place in business environments with job descriptions and checklists and things like that, not discounting that those aren't important. And as managers, we bring those to life
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
before we get into the telling, because it's clear about what our shared task is. It's
Mm-hmm.
clear it's urgent and important. It's clear that this is a short-term thing about what we are up to.
Yeah, and I think you're reminding me of how it's important for the manager to bring it to life. It's the responsibility of the manager to bring it to life.
Mhm.
If your manager isn't bringing it to life, then also empower yourself to bring it to life, right? If you're able to do that. And it reminds me of all these times when people want to point at a piece of paper and say, oh, but this is your job. This is what you're supposed to do. And really, the piece of paper isn't the thing that's going to create a relationship, right?
Yes.
Two people have to create the relationship in order to bring those things to life, to give them meaning, and to also get into relationship around what needs to be done and how it's going to get done.
Yes. The bottom line with this, the question that Shannon and I are with in our leadership journey is, how do we not lose the human and skillfully tell in order to get something done? So it's the humanity piece of this. being connected to the human as we tell. Remember the task, focusing on the task, not telling the person. It's not like this. It's like, here's the task that needs to be accomplished. That's one orientation that's serves our clients, is like, really, what are we talking about with the task versus holding the human sacred?
Yeah. So here's sort of the invitation for everyone is to think about, where does it feel like you're telling your delegation, your requests, right, are kind of falling flat, falling short, not really getting the traction, or maybe just don't feel right. Like when you send that email or you ask that person to do something, you just have this sense that something is not right. Notice where that's happening and the relationships where that's happening, and just ask yourself this question: what needs to be handled
What needs to be handled? Love that.
in the relationship, right? Not in the
Relationship.
task. What needs to be handled in the relationship?
What needs to be handled? Also, reaching back into your backpack for those tools that we've offered, the Design Alliance. Maybe it's time for a little bit of powerful questions like we talked about last time. So what was that question, Shannon? I'm so excited that you nailed it. It's like, what was that thing that we can leave with?
What needs to be handled?
What needs to be handled? So be well. We're off for now, and we'll be back.
Thanks, everyone.
Be well.